All right. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 22 of Gears and Beers, the portion of the Life Short Live Free podcast where we talk about gear we love, gear we hate, gun industry news, and whatever else we happen to come across. Tonight, we're going to be talking about, of course, we just talked about it a little bit on another live stream, but we're going to be touching on it again here. The things going on in DC today. And the primary arms ACSS Vulcan, a rare breed FRT15, and the Strike Industries Miller compensator. Tonight, we've got our panel. We've got our guy Sam up there, the owner of Shyworks and the sponsor of tonight's episode.
Hi.
And below him, we've got Johnson. And next to him, we've got our long lost friend Toad.
Hi, my internet sucks. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And I'm your host, Box. So, how's everyone doing tonight?
Incredible. Just fabulous.
Fantastic.
That is fabulous.
I am drinking a I wouldn't actually, I don't know if I've had this before, but this is a drink of the month, drink of the new year, I guess, twisted tea. Mine's the half and half flavor though. I couldn't find the original, but it's okay. I can't complain, I guess.
I mean,
Fox, how was yours?
I don't even like tea, but this isn't bad. I mean, I actually hate iced tea, but this is all right. I've never had one before.
You a sweet tea guy or a unsweetened?
No, I don't like tea guy.
I don't like tea of any way, shape, or form.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually, yeah, this is like kind of like an Arnold Palmer, like the half lemonade, half iced tea.
That's
It's
like
not
your
bad.
half and half, yeah.
Yeah. It's an
Yeah.
it's an Arnie Palmy, Sam.
Arnie Palmy.
Arnie
See,
Palmer.
we used to just dump vodka into regular Arnold Palmers. I guess we made our own twisted tea.
Right?
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, Nathan
asked
Bush.
if the feds are
I was just
the feds
touching
going to
on that too.
regulate twisted tea? Yeah, absolutely. It's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So they're already working on regulating.
They already are.
We're gonna have to
absolutely.
We're gonna have to get these serialized, just like we have to get our Molotov cocktails serialized.
Right.
What do you think the ATF would do if you put in a request serialized? I suppose it's a destructive device. What do you think they do if you put in a request to actually fucking serialize something like that?
It wouldn't be the first time. I mean,
How do you-
that ordnance lab. That's where I actually found out that they need to be serialized, and they did. They had them serialized because they're manufacturers.
What are they manufacturing?
They manufacture explosives.
But how do you manufacture a beer bottle with gasoline and a soaked rag in it?
Right.
I mean, how do you sterilize that?
It's what you said, Sam. It's a destructive device.
Wow. Oh, speaking of twisted tea, I got a destructive device here. This is all I can show you, but I'm pretty stoked with it. That's a yeah.
Yeah, that turned out awesome.
Destructive device twisted tea. So yeah, pretty sweet.
Okay, well, let's jump into this again, I guess. Obviously, I'm guessing just about everyone knows what's been going on in DC today. There was the big Stop the Steal rally, and things got a little feisty. The people broke in to the Capitol, and there was one woman shot in the neck and killed. And honestly, I don't really know what to say about this at this point. This is a pretty complex situation. I mean, it happened. It's kind of still going on at this point. I haven't really wrapped my head around it and how I feel about it at this point. So, I'm going to hand it off to you guys because I really don't know what to say about it.
I don't know. It's honestly when the news broke on it and it was kind of all coming out that there was people storming the Capitol and that they had evacuated the Capitol building and stuff. I can't say that I was surprised, I guess. Like, to me, it seemed like having a Stop the Steal rally, or basically a pro-Trump rally in the Capitol the same day that they're going to, debate on confirming the electoral votes. It's like, to me, like logistically, it was like pretty obvious that something like this was going to happen. Like there was no doubt in my mind that there was either going to be a red flag mass shooting or something of that nature, something large going to happen today. It just seemed like the perfect scenario for certain groups. And I don't know. There's too much unknown, I think, to really base an opinion on it. Like I don't think that, a violence and a violent protest in any way, shape, or form is good. This wasn't good. None of the protests that were, the whole autonomous zone, the riots in Minneapolis and everywhere else that they all happened this year, none of it's good. Like any time that our country is fighting itself and, destroying property of others, it's not good.
Well, I wouldn't say no violent protest is ever good. I mean, it's essentially what America is.
Yeah.
How America was built.
But I don't think for any of the, I don't know. It's hard. It's a difficult situation.
Yeah, that's why I say it's such a complex situation to wrap my head around, because that's what America was built on.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And I will say, Box mentioned that that girl that was shot and killed inside the Capitol building. She was a 16-year-old girl. That's always loss of life.
Was she shot by the Capitol? Was she shot by the Capitol Police, or?
That's what we're hearing.
Yeah, supposedly. She was transported and pronounced dead at the hospital. So that's always unfortunate. No matter what, loss of life, that sucks, especially when you're that young still. My thoughts on it are, obviously, when it comes to something like this, I condemned all those riots since frickin' June. I've condemned them and called them frickin' stupid. When they're burning cities down and stuff. And to not be a hypocrite, I have to condemn this as well. Pretty much. So obviously, and obviously I do. I think it was not a good thing what they did. Is kind of stupid. But that being said, the one thing that I will say about this, and that I said on the last video, is that the one good thing that will come of this is Congress needs to know that they're not untouchable, that they are beholden to the people. They work for us and not the other way around. And when that chamber that those protesters breached and they got into, that is the house of the people. That's our house. And Congress needs to realize that again, because too many times they pass this shit with no consequences other than re-elections. And the ones that are ingrained in there already, they always win their re-elections. There's no consequences for them anyways.
And I think the biggest problem that I have with that is like, and it comes back to the necessity for term limits. But when they're in that position and they've been there for so long, and they're basically fighting each other, like I dislike this person, or I don't like the Democrats, so I'm going to vote against that. Or they don't actually look at the policies. They don't look at what they're agreeing or disagreeing with. They are only, they're only just disagreeing with each other. They're just, I don't like you, so no.
Right. It's about party, not about country.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But
I don't know. It comes back. I think it comes back to we have to have term limits. If the highest office in the nation and probably the world being the president of the United States, and you can only be there for 8 years, how in the hell have we not decided that Congress also needs to live by those same rules?
Toad, you had something to say?
Yeah. totally agree with Johnson on that, and I agree with what Sam said. I think what happened today was not good. You know, I like to think that we're a little better than that, but on the same side of it, I saw pretty much every major news outlet today calling these protesters terrorists. Now, when cities were burning all summer freaking long, they were mostly peaceful protests.
Yeah.
I mean, the hypocrisy that I saw today was horrible, and it just like it kind of makes me not kind of, it makes me afraid the direction our country's going in. It's freaking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
and the one other thing that I will say is all those riots and everything that was going on all summer, all those protests, what were they protesting? Ultimately, they were protesting, you know, a government that they felt was unjust to them, whether it was or not. That's what they were protesting. And that's the same thing those guys in DC were protesting. They felt that the government is unjust to them. Well, guess what? We're on the same side. I am not your enemy and you're not my enemy. If we all came together and joined together, that government is still beholden to us, and we can force them to do what we want them to do. They are for us. So rather than dividing and calling each other, you know, commies or racists or whatever bullshit terms that we justify whatever we do to the other person, if we'd come together as one and stop this bullshit infighting, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else, I'll fully admit that, but it's the dividing the country is exactly what they want us to do. So everybody needs to be better than that on both sides.
Yeah.
Can't we all just get along?
Well, and can't we all just get along? The biggest problem with that is that people just feel the need that anybody, like, if we have a difference of opinion, I have to hate you. There's no I can still be your friend and disagree with you. I have to hate you because you don't think exactly like I do. That's the biggest problem with all of it.
Yep, absolutely. And we think of our agenda and the things that we want for our party way before we think of the, you know, of the actual good of the country.
The greater good of the people, yeah.
Which I hate that term, the greater good, but it's absolutely, you know, it's correct. We need to be putting country first instead of party first, or whatever we identify as, you know. So, but
let's start our own new party, the Party of Love.
I wasn't going to say that, but I was just going to say, does anybody think there needs to be like a third party? I mean, I know there are other parties, but forget who. I think it was Graham Allen today said something about, you know, there needs to be not just a 2-party system, but a 3-party system. So it's not just Democrats and Republicans that always get, you know, the airtime, and you can only vote Democrat or Republican, or, you know, identify yourself by who you voted for in the last election, crap like that. But I don't know. It'd be just nice to have, you know, more than those 2 options, it seems like these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nathan, tolerance and understanding only goes so far. You're absolutely right. I'm not advocating for only tolerance and understanding. I'm advocating for the people standing up and together and doing what the hell they need to do to take our country back. Because it's not the right against the left. It's the people against the government at this point. So
twisted Tea Party. That's awesome.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Time for a Twisted Tea Party.
Box will compromise. It'll be the Twisted Tea Party of Love.
Well, that's actually pretty good. Instead, you know, it used to be the Tea Party, the Twisted Tea Party. I dig that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm slower than you guys, but that just clicked in my brain.
We party hard, but we love you all.
Jesus Christ.
So
I just read a really interesting comment here, guys, on it was pertaining to the IED found on Capitol Hill is the article, but this guy's comment is those who make justice impossible make violence inevitable, and that's a pretty deep comment, 100%. But that's definitely the truth of it all, because when there is no justice 100%. for wrongs that have been done, then there's, you make the violence inevitable. You make it, you kind of bring it on yourself basically by not doing the right thing.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. Like, everybody condemns the violence. But I've said this before. It has to happen at some point. Like, when is the point,
Yeah.
Because
and I don't know how many times we've talked about Civil War in the last 3 months.
27.
Almost every single podcast.
Yeah, but I was always pretty optimistic. 5, 10, maybe 15 years. I think we got 2 max at this point. Like, I'm really bringing my numbers down. I think we got 2 max.
Dude, it sure looks like that, doesn't it, man? It's freaking sad.
Yeah.
But anyways, unless Box, you want to move on, because I'm sure everybody's politicized out lately.
Yeah.
I mean, especially today, this is all I was hearing, all I was paying attention to. Should we, Box, you want to talk about some gears or something, or anybody else got any other comments?
How about we move on to and we touch on your Strike Industries comp real quick. That won't take long.
Yeah, absolutely. Chad just said, let me ask a sincere question. Absolutely. Chad's a good friend of mine. Shoot ahead. Well, I'll talk about this. This is kind of a cool new, it's a compensator, flash hider, muzzle device, whatever. And if you're not in the AR world, you might not realize, but a barrel on a rifle has to be 16 inches. So a lot of times what guys will do is buy a 14.5-inch barrel and buy an 1.5-inch compensator for it, pin and weld the sucker, and that qualifies as a 16-inch barrel. The only problem with that being that once that's pinned and welded, it's not very easy to get off, and that's the whole point of it. You have to, drill it out and all this shit. So once your gas block is already on there, you're done. That's what you're running. But this new little jiggy from Strike Industries, it fits underneath that, so you can slide your gas block off. Just kind of a cool deal. You can actually weld it on there before you put your gas block on, because I've done work for customers that, almost made the mistake of welding it before they sent it to me, because they wanted to weld it and then have me Cerakote it, and then they were going to put their gas block on, and I called them and says, hey, you can't do this. This is not good. This is not going to work, and you're going to be real pissed off when I Cerakote your barrel, and you gotta cut it off and screw up the Cerakote. So it's not a whole lot to talk about, but I just think it's a cool product. You guys know me; I'm always innovation,
right?
So and really, I'm dealing with the same situation on my 14.5-inch AR right now. I got a 2A armament comp on it, and I'd love to switch it off to an ASR mount, but it's freaking welded on there. So I'm gonna have to take that off, and really I don't know if I'll put an adjustable gas block on there or not. I'll probably have to if I'm gonna run anything suppressed. But kind of a cool product. Box, is your AR pinned and welded?
No.
I have a 16.
I have a 16, yeah. But I feel like this comp is putting a secondary issue ahead of what a muzzle device is supposed to be about. I mean, it's not a very big issue.
No, it's not.
For 99.9% of people.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's I don't know, if you're it's nothing huge. It's just an option for you if you I don't know, you want to Cerakote your barrel first and then put it on. It's definitely not anything extraordinary. But I just thought it was a cool product and wanted y'all to be made aware of it. So,
and I feel like that's I mean, I understand that it doesn't serve the same purpose on like a bolt gun. But there's like a lot of bolt guns where the compensator or flash hider or whatever is threaded onto the barrel. And it's the same size as the barrel, and it's actually like a flush fit where you can't even tell that it's threaded like a muzzle device. It just looks like it's part of the barrel.
Yeah.
And that's really common in the like bolt gun world, but it's kind of interesting to see it come along in the airs because it does make sense, you know, as far as the gas block goes. The problem is, you know, getting the proper cuts and, you know, actual properties that you want from a compensator out of such a small piece, you know. It's just it just makes the manufacturing a little more difficult. Hey, you know, I hear that frequently.
You know,
actually, Johnson.
Johnson.
Johnson, now that you mention it, have you ever seen those bolt guns with the thread protector on it? That it's the whole thing was turned together, so when you actually thread it all the way on, that seam just disappears. It's the coolest thing ever. Like you thread it all the way on, and it's like it's like an optical illusion. It's.
I wish I had it. So in school, I made a bolt, right? So it's basically got like a large like ball on each end, and then it's threaded in the center, and there's a nut on it. And like the trick is, well, how the hell did you make that? You know, because you can't get the nut on from either end because only the center chunk is threaded. Well, there's actually threads, a male and a female thread inside that section of threads. So when it's tightened together, the threads are seamless and you can just run that nut back and forth. But when you run the nut to one side, you can actually break it loose and the threads basically separate in half. But it was when I turned it in the lathe, it was, you know, I had basically two large pieces that I did the male and female thread, put them together, and then cut the threads in the center. So you can't even tell that it's two separate pieces when it's threaded together. Kind of the same deal. But that's, I mean, it's even more, I guess it's easier to hide with threads than it is with like a smooth surface, but it's definitely cool to have something that it's so seamless like that, you know, because and I see a lot of them that are like the spiral gun drill, you know, for like bolt guns and stuff. That seems to be kind of a popular design, but
I don't think there's a whole lot of other comments on that. I wanted to touch back on Chad's question. Johnson, you already answered it in the text, but Chad says, if people were going to overthrow the government, you really think it would have stopped today? Take the ill and don't give it back. And that's one thing I wanted to bring up tonight, actually, was that was thousands of unarmed people. Those protesters, they were all unarmed. As Matt was telling us in our previous video, they were patting people down, metal detectors, the whole 9 yards. Think what would happen if 1,000 people walked up there, you know, well armed and ready to rock and roll. That house belongs to us. That is our house. And that is why it is so vitally important that we keep the rights to those weapons, because they will not be able to stop us. If it comes to that, I'm certainly not advocating that right now, but if it comes to that in the future, that's why the Second Amendment is so important, because they can't stop all of us. The Capitol Police, there's a lot of them. I don't know how many there are. There's a shitload of them, but not a couple million. No. So I'm sorry to interrupt again, guys. I hate changing subjects like that and hopping back and forth, but this is a live podcast. So every now and then we get a question in the comments that I feel we need to address. So,
and I go off on tangents all the time, so it's good to reel me back every once.
Are you guys honestly apologizing for going off on tangents on this podcast? Do you know what podcast this is?
75 episodes in. Hey, we can start learning to change.
Actually, yeah, we're pretty damn close to that, aren't we? We just did 47, I think, 46 or 47 of the actual Life Short Live Free podcast, and this Gears and Beers segment is 22. So we're up in the damn near 70.
Damn.
Are we at 69?
Oh, fuck yeah.
God.
60.
Okay, well.
I need to get another beer for that.
I mean.
Yeah, I'm with Johnson on this one.
I realized we forgot, and now that we realized that this is our 69th episode. I think we have to give away stickers, Sam. I forgot to do that at the...
Is it the actual 69th?
Isn't that what he just said?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's correct or not. Is it 69, Johnson? Do we know
We 47. We just finished 47. And this is 22. That makes 69. The math is there.
It checks.
Episode 69.
It checks out.
The math checks out.
I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't math well, but that sounds good to me. Episode 69. Yeah, if you guys want some stickers, share the feed,
Sam.
comment below. Yeah, right there. There you go.
Bam.
Well, bam.
Gears and Beer stickers, as well as Shyworks. If you guys want a chance, make sure you share, and then comment in the comment section, please, that you shared it, so I know who exactly shared it. And then at the end, we'll randomly pick a winner and send you some stickers.
We very much appreciate the shares. It helps us grow tremendously.
Yeah, damn right we do.
And we need all the
Damn
help
right
we
we
can
do.
get. Okay, well, how about what do we want to go to now?
Speaking of shitty government, hey, let's move on to this trigger. Because we know the shitty government's coming for this.
Yeah,
too.
how about the rare breed FRT15?
Yeah,
Which
I
is...
immediately went online to try and figure out where I could buy one. Turns out, no in-store retailers.
Shocker.
No, it's just the only place selling it was Big Daddy Unlimited.
And Rare Breed themselves.
Oh, you could get them straight from there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they probably sold out pretty fast once everybody realized what was going on.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so what this trigger is, it's the FRT stands for Forced Reset Trigger. So what it does, I mean, you have to have a full auto bolt carrier group in your rifle, and I think there's might be one other thing too. I don't remember. But what it does is when the bolt carrier goes back, obviously that's when you pull your trigger. It goes back, and then when it's coming forward, it also forces the trigger to reset. So it kind of works like it's like a bump stock for the trigger.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
ish, and that's really dumbing it down, but
I don't quite understand how they so when they released this, their video that they produced to kind of unveil this had like a 15-minute section at the end of it of just their lawyer talking about how this is legal, and I was like, now this is definitely something I need. If we have to have a 15-minute law lesson just after watching the video of it being used, I need it. But the other thing it needed, or the other thing that they were saying it needed, was like a heavy buffer system.
yeah, that's it.
Just to slow the cyclic rate. But the thing that I don't get is, I don't know. It's like inducing trigger slap, right? So it's pushing that trigger back out to your finger. And if you just keep holding it, it's just going to keep, you're going to pull the trigger. It's going to force the trigger to reset. You're going to pull it.
But your fingers never...
That's exactly the point.
Your fingers never leaving the trigger, though. So you're not slapping the trigger.
No, I'm saying trigger slap is when the trigger slaps back to your finger. So it's like, that's a thing in AKs, is you get trigger slap, and it hurts your finger because the trigger forcibly resets and smacks the shit out of your finger. It's
do they really? I never noticed that.
It's not very common in good AKs.
Oh, okay.
But it's a thing. If you look up some YouTube videos on trigger slap, it can hurt the shit out of your finger. It'll bruise the tip of your finger. But the only thing I don't like about it is that it's not a 3-position safety deal.
Yeah,
but I think
it's on or off.
I think that's the whole. I think that was the whole point of it, though. So they can effectively call it a semi-auto trigger, because they're not marketing it as a binary trigger or anything like that. They're just saying it's semi-auto.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably a calculated risk on their part. I think that's probably why they did that.
I just watched that video you were talking about, Johnson, or at least a little bit of it. That thing is awesome.
Right?
It reminds me of there was this guy when I was going to Johnson's little girl finger.
It's like a Vienna sausage.
Yeah. When I was in college, we used to paintball a lot, and this kid bought this. It was like that. It was like a force reset trigger, like a bump trigger for his paintball gun, and nobody wanted to play with him anymore because he'd just light your ass up. But that thing's pretty sweet.
I don't know. It legitimately, like, and looking at the trigger, it's like, oh, we just put the auto sear in the trigger pack, so it's all a one drop-in deal. You know, like that's all it really looks like.
Yeah, this is just a drop. This is just a drop-in trigger too. It's no different than a regular cartridge trigger.
2 pins.
It's also expensive. It's like $300 to $400.
$380. That's the same as a binary trigger.
So is that Frankfurt Armory one too.
Franklin Armory is like $425, I think.
Yeah, they were expensive.
So I will say this about it. It's badass. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll probably buy one if I'm given the chance.
I've been watching every day.
If it is okay, if you follow the law, the letter of the law, which Congress has passed, it's 100% legal because it's a trigger pull for every time it goes forward. That being said, I'm saying that a lot tonight. The ATF, I guarantee you, it is only a matter of time before the ATF reclassifies this as a machine gun. I guarantee you. Somehow they'll justify it because they don't give a shit about the actual letter of the law anyways. So yeah, it's if you got it, enjoy it while you can because it's going to be a machine gun here shortly. I almost guarantee you that.
Yeah.
I hate to be a party pooper.
Within the year.
Yeah, I believe so.
But how do you think? How are they possibly going to justify it? Because it's 100% not. It's not a machine gun. It's just
they
not.
don't need to justify it. It's the fucking government. They're just like,
anything.
We don't like it. You don't need to know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Side note: looking at Franklin Armory, they're all $429.99 for any of the AR systems, and $500 for like the ACR, B&T, CZ, stuff like that. So
okay.
Or if you're a Heckler and Koch owner, you can spend $700 on a binary trigger. But I mean, if you have an HK 416, you can afford the $700.
Yeah. Johnson, did you see the one Franklin Armory makes for the Ruger 1022?
I did. That makes me excited.
Awesome.
And that one is a little cheaper. I think that one's $300, but still pricey for a trigger.
I didn't realize they made them for 1022s. That's kind of cool.
I think in the last year they came out with them. But yeah, government is coming for this one pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean,
and I've never heard of this rare breed, so how well are they going to be able to fight this? Are they just going to get as many sold as humanly possible quickly, and then they're like, yeah, sorry, you're fucked.
But they came up with an idea. I don't know if it's patented. I doubt it's patented at this point.
It's got a patent right on the side of the trigger cartridge.
Well,
it's got to be on the box.
If Johnson, they are new, and
I could take a dump in a box and market guaranteed,
but so here's what would happen if they couldn't fight the ATF. They would sell the patent to somebody, a big company that actually can do a little bit of fighting. Yeah. That would be my guess on it, but who knows? Is something like this something that you guys would ever consider using in a shit at the fan gun?
No.
I don't think so.
Not for a shit at the fan gun, no.
Yeah, I don't think so. Too many things could go wrong with that, I would think.
It might be something I would use in a secondary shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
The fuck is a secondary shit at the fan?
If I have the convenience of having more than one fucking
If I have the convenience
rifle.
if I got a semi-automatic, if I've got my standard AR that I know is bulletproof, and I'm fighting off a couple of guys here and there, shit hit the fan, doing some hunting, yeah, I'm going to use my semi-auto. If it's a secondary shit hit the fan and this is in my house and I got 30 fucking zombies, we'll say, coming at my house, I'm going to unload on these bitches. You know, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to justify even like a legit full auto or even this. It's like it's hard for me to justify a use for it other than I just fucking want it. You know, like I don't have like a specific scenario in mind where I could be like, I need that now. You know, I need that for that purpose. But dude, no, I totally understand. That's what I'm saying. I fucking want it. That's the reason for me buying it.
Damn right. Know? And yeah, you certainly don't. This is America. You don't have to justify shit, man. You want something, you buy the damn thing.
What about you, Sam? Would you use it for a shit hit the fan gun?
I don't know. Possibly. I mean, I'm gonna buy one if I can.
I think the way you just said, I don't know, really means you probably would.
Well, it depends on whether I have a full auto by that point or not.
Well, okay,
because if this actually stands up to what what they're saying it is, and if it holds up, it's damn near just as good as a full auto. It's not, but it's pretty damn close. And if I don't happen to have a full auto at that point, and you need suppressive fire, as James says, why not? This thing, and if it holds up, why not? You know, we'll see. That's
my only to respond to James. Suppressive fire, I understand. But that suppressive fire for, you know, like to move, I'm by myself. I'm stupid. I'm not gonna like. I need to lay down suppressive fire and move to a different vantage point. I'm just gonna be like, fuck yeah, and just shooting at whoever I can. You know, like I'm not smart. I'm gonna do stupid things.
Johnson's out there wilding chickens at people.
in a shit hit the fan scenario, it's like, to me, ammo conservation is a thing. So that would factor into my decision, but
but ammo conservation goes out the window when it's a life or death situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. No. I agree with that. But the only like I said before, the only downside I see to this is it not being select fire, and that's, I mean, obviously on purpose, because if it was select fire, it'd be a whole different category of shit. But
Chase says he has a drop-in auto sear. There's a pain in the ass to get running. I see the trigger being the same way. Possibly. Chase, I have a follow-up question. You have a drop. Those are like, did you buy that through your SOT, or did you buy that?
You got personally? That from Wish.
I hope not. Hey,
it's not a drop-in auto sear. It's a 3D printed coat hanger.
But yeah,
I've seen videos of people like reviewing this trigger, Chase, and basically what I've seen is everybody had the heavy like H2 H3 buffer in, and they had issues with it cycling, but when they went to like a 10.5-inch barrel, it was fine. Or if they just went back to like a carbine or an H1 buffer, it seemed to be running fine. I don't know.
We'll see we'll see when everybody gets it in there, when a lot of people actually get it in their hands.
Yeah.
That's what I saw too.
How new is this thing anyways?
A month or two, maybe a month.
I don't even, I just saw it. I just saw it this week. So, but
I did too. I actually just saw it,
he said he had to do a bolt bounce on my DAS. The suppressor fixed that.
Big Daddy Unlimited posted their video on it 5 days ago. Recoil TV did a week ago, 4 days ago. Yeah. So it's like maybe a week,
Nifty.
maybe a
And
week released.
You said it's only like $300.
390 or 380, excuse me.
If somebody sees this in stock, let me know. I'll get one just for shits and giggles to mess around with. And
yeah, I would take one also. But does anybody have I don't have a Big Daddy Unlimited account anymore.
no,
So I don't know.
But the first month is 99 cents.
I know, but I've already done that with
I
two
haven't.
different email accounts.
I haven't. So
I did it with my personal email account, and then I did it with my Short Live Free email account. So if you want to do it with yours,
oh fuck! I was gonna say, is it worth that to
if you're buying shit all the time,
everybody?
If you're buying shit all the time,
Johnson, you sound like me.
Oh,
You
great.
sound like me with the Onyx Hunt app.
Oh yeah.
Like $100 for a year. So every time I go out of state on a hunting trip, I just create a fake email address and do the 7-day free trial.
Mm-hmm.
Chase, one of the guys that works for me has one. What has what? I'm sorry. One of the triggers or the. Or are you talking about the auto sears, drop-in auto sears? And I always thought the drop-in auto sears were just kind of a plug and play situation.
I think he's talking about the Big Daddy Unlimited account.
Oh, right. Never mind. Sorry, Chase.
A bolt bounce. Yeah, that could be an issue. And I don't know. You got to look at, there's a lot of things that go in with that too. With you got a full auto bolt carrier group, but then you got to have, super tuned gas system and recoil spring and, buffer weight. All of that plays so much at hand, and gas system length and barrel length and all of that stuff plays so much account into how far back is the bolt traveling and how hard is it slamming back home, and
but
how good are your gas rings, like
if I could legally acquire one of those, I wouldn't even mind messing with all those problems if I get the fucker running.
Yeah.
I've wanted one of those and legally, like if you can in Iowa, you can't own them as a civilian. Full autos are one of the few things that Iowans cannot own as civilians, which pisses me off. But anyways, if you was going to buy one as a civilian, they're like 20 grand, like between 15 to 20. So I couldn't afford one anyways at this point. Give me a couple of years.
We need to, I have some metal coat hangers if that helps anybody, but anyways.
No, we wouldn't do that.
We would never do anything.
I would never condone behavior.
Headphones not working. I thought you had said something about locking your keys in your car. My bad.
Yeah.
Bad headphones.
Absolutely.
Gonna have to get new ones. Do we want to go to some pistol red dots?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that in the intro there. Another thing that we're going to be talking about is the new Leupold DeltaPoint micro that's just been released, which is a pretty different idea when it comes to pistol red dots.
Yeah,
I'll throw up a picture on the feed there for you guys here quick. Go ahead.
I sent this to Sam a few days back, and I don't know if you'd seen it yet or not, Sam.
No.
But when I first saw this thing, I was like, why? Like, just it's ugly. I didn't like it. It hangs off the back of your gun. And but I've watched a few reviews on it, and it actually seems pretty solid. And the more I kind of look at it, the more I like it. My only problem with it now is it's $522.
Yeah.
Well, that's the MSRP.
That's a Leupold. I mean, they just
and right now I think they only make it for the Smith & Wesson M&P and the Glock series handguns.
Mm-hmm. So, and the reason for that, for right now anyway, is the way this thing attaches is, and this is the most ingenious part of it, is it actually bolts in. There's like a bolted in receiver that slides in the beaver tail for the rear sight. And this will take place of your rear sight. So you don't have to have a milled slide. You don't have to have an MOS Glock, you know. You don't have to have an optics ready pistol, basically, which I think is a big appeal to a lot of people, I guess, because, you know, they have a lot of guns that they don't, you know, have optics ready slides, or they don't want to send out to get cut, or, you know, for a multitude of reasons. So I think this is kind of appealing to those people.
Jesus, that's ugly.
And it definitely is ugly. And the thing that really freaked me out was how small the little window is.
Right?
You know?
That's what I think
it's
ruins the
very
whole
small.
thing.
So,
It reminds me of the magnification. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them, but if you're bow hunters and you've got the little peep sight, the newer ones where it's just the washer, you can get those with like a little magnifier lens in the middle of them, and that's exactly what that thing reminds me of.
well, it reminds me kind of like the Meprolite. You remember that weird big long fiber optic fucking clear sight that Meprolite had a year or so ago? That's kind of what it reminds me of. But I don't know, man. It's just so fucking ugly. It's so weird. But the thing that I've heard from all the reviews is that if you shoot it, like if you draw and present just like you're shooting iron sights, you literally won't notice that it's such a small window. Because if you shoot it the same way you would iron sights, you will not notice any difference, except you will just see the dot.
You won't notice a difference between irons and your dot. Which
correct.
I mean, what's the fucking difference between that and a fiber optic sight?
There's not as much sight alignment, right? So you don't got to align the front and rear.
Sure there is. I mean, it's a tiny little window with a 3 MOA dot. You're still gonna have to. You're still gonna have to find it.
And that's that will be the hard part is finding it in the window.
Well, but it is like you said. That's one of the pros of this thing is if you're coming from irons, you're not going to have to change your presentation. With a traditional red dot, you're going to have to get used to have it holding a little bit lower so you can have that dot in your eye line. But with this, it's where where the irons are supposed to be. And I think that's the biggest pro.
And I think this is a really good transition to this ACSS Vulcan reticle from Primary Arms on this Holosun red dot, honestly. Because that's the whole shtick with this thing, is that you don't have to know how to present. You'll just be able to find the fucking dot. Yeah. So have you guys seen this at all?
No. Let me type. Tell me what it is. I'll type it into Google.
Holosun HS507C X2 with the Primary Arms ACSS Vulcan reticle. So basically what they've done is they've taken a Holosun 507C, a red dot, pistol red dot, or a mini red dot, micro red dot, whatever you're going to call it. And Primary Arms has done their magic with an ACSS reticle with this thing. So basically, instead of the dot, or like Holosun a lot of times has the like EOTech style reticle, they put a chevron in the middle. So they did a chevron, sight, but it's got like 100 MOA ring, I think. It's 100 MOA. It's huge. Like when you present and you see the chevron in the center of the window, you will not see the circle. You won't see it at all. But if you present and it's off a little bit, you instinctively know where to point the gun to find the dot, basically. So like and I watched the Mr. Guns and Gear review on this, and it made a lot of sense, because he was basically saying that when somebody who's not used to a red dot presents and they can't find the dot, you see them doing this, trying to find the dot. The gun's shaking all around, they're trying to find the dot. But this thing, he said, you hand this red dot to somebody, and it's instinctively, it'll be like one move, right? They'll just twitch it because they can see the edge of the circle, and your brain just knows how to find the middle of that circle. So you instinctively know how to tilt the gun to find that center chevron.
The circle phases out the sight window completely when the center chevron is properly aligned in the sight window.
Yeah, so you just won't be the circle is so big that you won't be able to see any of it when you're properly aligned and can see the chevron. And it's
okay.
supposed to be just way faster to acquire the dot because your brain just instinctively says, "Oh, that's the top of the circle. Let me point up a little bit," or "That's the bottom of the circle." Your brain just instinctively does it for you. It knows how to find the middle of that circle.
And that it says the larger auto reference circle can be deactivated per user preference. It's got a 10 MOA center chevron, 2 reticle modes, shake awake technology, red LED, 7075 T6 aluminum, 50,000 hour battery life too.
Mm-hmm.
So who's offering this? Is this through Primary Arms? Did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's $309.99 in stock on Primary Arms website.
I don't remember what's the dude's name who comes up with all the Dimitri? Is that the dude's name that comes up with all these ACSS reticles? This guy's a fucking genius.
The Primary Arms dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. Well, I think it's a good idea. And I certainly think that like if you're gonna do like your first red dot, that's a fantastic idea. Because that's the hardest thing is getting your sight picture to the point where you can find that red dot all the time. So I think it's a good idea. I dig it.
To me, it's not detrimental to an experienced red dot user, right? I mean, like it doesn't seem to be. If you present and the dot's in the middle, you don't see that circle, so it's not like it gets you in your way or slows you down in any way.
Doesn't seem to, no.
I sent you the link to it, Sam.
To me, it really makes sense that I don't know, man. It's super smart, I think, but
certainly a good training tool as well. And it doesn't just have to be a training tool. It can be,
The other thing is if you're, like in a self-defense situation, and it most of the times a point and shoot is gonna get you by, but
yeah,
it would be so much easier for your brain to just know versus if you're using a red dot in a self-defense situation, like freaking out, your arms are shaking, adrenaline's pumping, and you're trying to find this fucking dot, that could really suck. So I think that in that scenario it would be beneficial as well.
So you guys said the last site, I didn't get any input on that, but that's like 500 plus, correct?
Yep.
So
MSRP.
This is okay. So even if you are around 500, the Holosun 507C, this one we're talking about now, is 310-ish in that ballpark.
Yep.
So you could still get 310 plus shipping. You're at 320. You can get your slide milled for 1 to 150. You're still
in that same ballpark. Yeah.
You're still in that same ballpark, and you got an actual, legitimate red dot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like. You guys seem to be on board with that last one we were talking about. Number one, it's
no, I
fucking
don't.
ugly.
I said I liked it. I didn't say I wanted it.
Okay, number one, it's fucking hideous. It's just god awful hideous. There's no getting around that. They didn't take that into account when they designed it, obviously.
Yeah.
But and two, I don't think that the site. I mean, I think the site picture is going to take some real getting used to. And I mean that's a tiny hole there.
That's what she's
finding that under stress situation. Why would you want that as opposed to you can get something like this Holosun for the same price or less?
I think part of
go ahead.
Leupold has a pretty serious fan base when it comes to things like that. I mean, I know a lot of guys that will not buy optics unless they're Leupold. So, I mean, they're going to buy that thing just because it's a Leupold.
More power to you. I see what's his nuts, Tim Kennedy.
Toolman Taylor.
Tim Kennedy, he's already promoting it.
Yeah, I seen that video.
Well, I'm
Cole
sure
Leon
gets paid
Noir's
to do
big.
so.
Cole Leon
I
Noir's
know,
big
that's
on
what
it
I'm-
too.
What'd you say, Box?
Cole Leon Noir's big on it too.
Yeah,
Really?
he had a video yesterday or the day before. Yep.
So they're dropping a lot of money on marketing this thing, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I mean, I'll say it again. I applaud innovation, but I don't think that's going to go anywhere.
Well,
Just
It's
doesn't
a
make any sense.
They're the size of a pencil eraser. I mean, it's
yeah.
not like good.
Yeah,
So,
and the
I
thing
mean-
I don't get is like, what's the appeal?
That you don't have to mill your
mill
slide. That's the
Right, that's the only thing.
biggest thing. Well,
Buy a really expensive red dot so you don't have to spend some of your money on milling your slide. Like it
I mean,
doesn't-
shit, you can buy an RMR for $400 and
Mhm.
still get your slide milled and still be less than the price of that thing.
Yeah.
well, that's
Johnson,
just
is
the
that true?
MSRP. You're going to be able to find it for in the threes.
Threes, I doubt.
Maybe high
Fours,
threes.
yeah.
I would say because what's their DeltaPoint Pro? 425 to 450 on average.
I don't know.
I don't think they'll go any lower than that. I don't think it'll be any cheaper than their DeltaPoint Pro.
They're going to
I
have
think
to.
so.
That's going to be the market this thing's going to appeal to. This isn't going to appeal to people that don't want to spend good money on a good red dot.
Yeah.
Other than, like Toad said, the Leupold fanboys.
Right. I don't know.
I don't see
It's
the.
odd.
I mean, there's the few pros to it where you don't have to change your presentation, you don't have to mill your slide, and if it dies, it acts like a ghost ring.
Mm.
But
A lot of these red dots have, are if you put suppressor height sights on, they're good to go anyway. And I've seen some red dots
Right.
that basically have a rear notch in them, right? Have a rear sight notch.
The other thing about that Holosun, it has backup solar redundancy on it too.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying the benefit.
They also, what else could this be for other than concealed carry? And sticking that big fucking thing on the back of it. I mean, at least for appendix carry, incredibly inconvenient.
Mm-hmm.
That
It's gonna look
having
like
that.
you got one weird belly button ring.
Well, it's not even aside from how it's gonna feel or how it's gonna look. You're gonna have that thing jabbing up into you. I mean, when you're just. I know it seems weird to most people to be carrying an appendix and you're going to have the slide there anyways, but you're not. You have the slide there and you have the handle there and you have your holster there. This is going to be shooting up above everything and it's going to be jabbing into you.
A concern that I would have carrying appendix with that thing is it rubbing, like sitting down, standing up. Are you turning that knob on the rear? Turning it off, turning the brightness up or down. I don't know if that would be an issue or not. I guess
For what? Come again?
for the Leupold,
Yeah.
it's got the knob on the back behind the slide. So if you're like sitting down and stuff and your stomach touches that knob, because that won't be protected by your holster.
That's the battery compartment.
I think
Yeah.
that's the activation switch too, to turn it on and off and change your brightness levels, I believe.
Johnson, at the same time, I'm 257 pounds. Every time I try to appendix carry, everything rubs anyway.
And that's even more to my point, though.
Mm-hmm.
You could be turning that dial and shit to turn the brightness up and down, so you never know what state it's in when you draw it.
I had that
I
thought
think
too,
it's
yeah.
I think it's a consistent brightness, isn't it? I think it's the
I don't
same
know. It
level.
may be.
Yeah, I'm
Because it
not
didn't
sure.
look like there was any adjustments on it to turn it up or down. It's just got that under that cap on the bottom, like Box said, it's the battery compartment, and then your windage and elevation screws are on the side.
And then there's the other thing that you got to take it
It
off.
says with adjustable brightness settings.
Every time you want to service the internals of your slide, you're going to have to take it off and re-zero. And I mean, for a majority of people, that's not going to be a real big concern because, I mean, let's be real, how many people actually service in their slide and the shit going on in there? But still, for a lot of people, that could be pretty fucking annoying to have to re-zero every time they want to get in their slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, That's what I thought. I'm one of those guys that when I take a gun apart, it comes apart and the back plate comes off and the Traeger comes out. And absolutely, that would drive me nuts. That's a big fat negatory from me. But
And I guess the pro to both of these over like a RMR is that you don't have to take it off of your slide to change the battery. So you don't have to re-zero it after a battery change.
Yep.
I mean, to me, that's the one thing I see beneficial about a Holosun over like my RMR is when that battery dies, I got to take that son of a bitch off, put a new battery in it, and I got to re-zero the fucking thing.
I can't imagine though that'd be off very far.
Like, no, I can't imagine it would be either. But
when you screw it back down, you probably won't even have to. But yeah, you should absolutely double check it. But
yeah, I want to see if I can find like how to use this to see if that knob, if you do turn that knob in the back, or if it's just a button.
I don't know.
Because it says adjustable brightness settings, but I don't know.
I think it's odd because they market this thing as being smaller, but in actuality, I think it's larger. I
think you're right.
Reshaped it and moved the fucking shit around. I mean, if they really wanted to make a small, better red dot, I think they would be better just using the traditional red dot style and making the windows smaller. That would make it incredibly smaller than this current design.
I agree.
I mean, yeah, you'd have to. Sure, the red dot would be up higher than this thing, and you would have to change your presentation a little bit, but it would still be smaller, and you would accomplish what you were trying to accomplish with this thing, and not jab yourself in the stomach when you're carrying.
So, looking at this, it does appear that is only the battery cap.
Yeah, but how long does it look? That's like a damn near an inch. You're at an inch to your slide.
It's really funny watching them, watching somebody with this in their hand.
What was that, Johnson?
I said it's really funny just watching somebody handle this thing, like looking at it on a physical gun and having it in their hand. Because it's like, just from an engineering perspective of this, it was like, we're going to make this sight, and it's going to be really small, and we're going to use the rear dovetail and all this. And I got the whole thing designed. It's all good to go. We can put the circuit board right down here. Okay, everything's good. And then the senior engineer came in and said, that's really cool. Yeah, I like that. But where are you going to put the battery? Oh, fuck. Like, that's what this whole thing, the whole fucking battery compartment looks like an afterthought.
Johnson, you acted that out pretty quickly. I feel like you've been in that situation before.
Oh, yeah, many times.
And
yeah,
also
what about
the
this part? Ooh.
Another thing we should note is you can't just buy it for, buy one and it'll fit any gun. Between Smith & Wesson and Glock, obviously the back side of the slide is angled on the Smith & Wesson. It's not on the Glock, so the angle is different on the red dots too. So you have to buy that red dot specific. So you're not going to be able to switch guns with it. With any RMR or Holosun or anything like that, as long as your slide's milled for it, you can put out whatever on whatever gun you want. So that's another for me downside, but that's just me. You guys do what you want to do.
I'm wondering how this thing affects recoil, because you're adding mass and lengthening the slide the wrong way. There's going to be mass at the back of your slide pulling shit around. I'll bet it'll be minimal, but there's got to be some kind of effect on the recoil there.
Yeah, I mean, most red dots don't affect it too terrible much. I'm sure there is some, but I don't think it's going to be super noticeable.
I mean, it would probably be similar to a regular red dot, but I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be more mass farther back and lower. So as the slide moves back, I feel like it'd have more of a tendency to, once it hits the end of its movement or the motion of the slide, then I feel like it might go down, have more tendency to go down a little bit more. Not much, but
it's actually the opposite, Box, because when you put a weight farther off the axis of travel, it acts like a lever, right? So when the weight is up higher, it's just like having a higher center of gravity. It's like having a really tall, skinny truck, and it wants to tip like this. So if you put that weight on top of the slide, when it comes back, you have all that weight up here, and it actually wants to pull more because it's on a longer lever. If it's down towards the center line of the axis of travel, it's going to continue to go in a straight line. So it'll actually be better than that in turn, better than a traditional red dot in that sense. And that's the same reason we want a lower bore axis, right? Because it's in line with our hand. So the farther you get it off the top of your hand, the farther you get all that weight and moving weight off the top of your hand, the more it wants to flip, right? Same deal with putting that weight on a slide. In a way a way a lot of people account for that is like slide cuts. So like when you buy like a slide that's milled for a red dot, a lot of times for aftermarket slides anyways, you'll see like windows and shit in them. And basically all you're doing is taking the weight of that optic out of the material of the slide. So you don't change the actual weight of the slide at all. So it's when you add the red dot and the battery and all that shit, you're just taking that weight out of material in the slide to not change. That way it's less likely to affect the way the gun cycles and the recoil feels and things like that.
Interesting.
That's what Sam says when he's not interested at all and he's tired of it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Can you shut up now? Fuck.
I applaud innovation.
Oh, I was thinking earlier. We should totally start making shirts that say "I applaud innovation" just for Sam.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you got? What do you guys think? Our comments are pretty quiet. What do you guys think of that idea? I applaud innovation. Oh, we've only got 12 viewers in.
I think that's fantastic.
Pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
I think I like that shirt, and I like that idea
because it's innovative.
Yeah, it's innovative. That's an innovative idea.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Sam wasn't on board with this Leupold. I'm surprised he didn't pull that. It's something different. I applaud innovation.
So innovative.
Yeah, but it's fucking ugly. God.
And that's a very, like we keep looking at all these technical things like, it's be touching your belly when you're carrying it and the presentation and this and that. There has to be something said about aesthetics. That thing is just fucking ugly.
Right?
And aesthetics play a big part in the gun industry. People buy shit because it looks cool. And that doesn't look cool. Right. That looks like shit.
Yeah, it's going to take quite a few generations of that to finally get it to look half-assed decent, I think.
The generation that they just scrap the fucking thing will be the best.
But I will give...
I'm talking about... Sorry, Box, go ahead.
I will give them this. It is an original idea, and I think it will strike some other companies' imagination, and some cool ideas could come from this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You were talking about aesthetics, Johnson, and I saw, I think it was Field and Stream posted an article a couple of days ago about the Remington XP100 or something like that. It was a handheld space blaster looking bolt action like hunting rifle. Had no butt stock. The thing was about this long, and like obviously it's a bolt action, and the handle's like 6 inches in front of the back of the gun, and there's this overhang. And it was like, the article was like, why didn't this sell more? And I was like, Jesus, because it's fucking ugly,
Right. Chase, I don't know. I agree with you. He likes the idea that makes me less excited about making a t-shirt that doesn't bug him, because it was meant to tease him.
We can
I'm sure you guys could come up with something else that is meant to tease.
You could make the eye. You could make the eyes out of dicks or something.
Yeah.
Isn't there something else that I say all the time?
Big old capital I, big veiny triumphant capital I on innovation, man.
I feel like James would buy like 30 of those.
Why do you guys misspell it or make it stutter or something like?
Yeah.
I like innovation.
We can do all those things.
Put a big dick as the I, and then at the end, innovation.
And on the
some little
back, I'm going to
spurs
put
on the backside.
proprietary.
Or statistics.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put stats back there.
Just list on the backside. Just list all the words that I have
A
a
whole
hard
list
time.
of words that Sam can't say.
I like this idea. We should run with it.
Yeah.
You guys
Okay.
are dicks.
Well, our
We tried.
topics have kind of died off. Does anyone have any final thoughts?
No, I do actually. I do have a final thought.
Is it that you should have shut your air compressor off?
Yeah, do you guys hear that? It's pretty loud.
At first, I thought the
I mean-
feed truck had just pulled in my driveway again, but
I can mute until it's off.
It's not that loud.
That's all right.
We're-
It's actually canceling
all right.
quite a bit of it out.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Um,
You guys can deal with it.
Yeah, I guess my final thoughts are 2020 was a shit show year. It looks not like 2021 is going to be any better. And I know a lot of people, especially in our group of friends, this industry, the people I talk to, it's extremely it's hard to be have a positive outlook, because when our government it seems like so set against us on gun laws and stuff. But I will say this: you guys remember back in 2008 when they had all three forms of government, the House, the Senate, and the presidency, all three forms of you guys know, not, but
all three
we
branches.
no, they're not all three branches, because there's Senate
Supermajority.
Yeah, whatever.
super majority. Excellent. You guys can put this on the shirt when I'm stuttering and stammering. But it's easy to say, shit, we're going to lose everything. But that's not necessarily the case, guys. And we've come a long way. We've come a long way in our industry, and we're stronger than ever. And we just need to stand and fight together, and we will get through this. We may lose something, we may not. But just keep up the faith, keep up the fight, and we'll get through this. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Leonardo,
my
don't you
compressor
just
stops.
give up yet.
Not
Don't you
yet,
give
buddy.
up yet.
Not yet.
We got
You
at
just
least
shut
another year. Just calm down.
shut your whore mouth and going back to making your Milwaukee guns.
Yeah.
He's the guy that did that Milwaukee AR that went really big.
Clearly not around Iowa. Who the hell would drink that?
No, the Milwaukee.
It was a Milwaukee drill,
power
bud.
tools.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ! It's
I
like
always say that.
Milwaukee's best.
I always say that old Milwaukee when I'm talking about Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I always fucking do that myself.
Well, I just pictured it in my brain as old Milwaukee, and not like Milwaukee Power Tools.
Yeah. So
I
keep
just
the faith,
I
guys.
just got one of those. I just put a Milwaukee drill on my my ice auger. I got one of those clam drill plates where you just attach your handheld auger and
Yeah, I was
Stick a
looking at
power
getting one
drill
of
on
those.
that. it works
I'm way
awesome.
too cheap to buy a powered auger.
Yeah, me too. That's why I bought one. It was $79 at Shields.
Yeah.
Oh, before we go, we need to give away some stickers.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm discriminating
Everybody-
in DeWalt too. Good.
Everybody that's entered.
Royal
Are you-
Yeah, fuck Ryobi, man. I'm not gonna lie, it is really a battle between Milwaukee and DeWalt. And if you like either one, you're an okay guy. But if you use Ryobi, go fuck yourself.
Or I've had really bad luck with Porter cables too. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, that's like almost as bad as like the tool shop stuff from Menards. Jesus.
Or that new Hart stuff. Have you seen the new Hart tools from Walmart? They're like
Oh,
white
God.
and blue.
No. I don't know why anybody would go to Walmart for a power tool and think it'd perform.
Anyways, back to stickers. I feel like everybody that's entered in our little contest, as most of them are the usual suspects.
They've already all won.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure. So Scott Shackelford, if you're still in here, I'm going to give you some stickers. Give me a shout. Message me your address, and I'll get some stickers out to you. I think if I remember right, he's
Kentucky boy.
Why is it relevant that most of the people we're sharing are the same people? I thought you were going to be like, I'm giving stickers to all of you because you're all the same ones. But then you're like, nah, I'm just going to give it to you.
No, because everybody that I have written on my list has won it before. So I'm just giving it to the guy that has it won. And Scott Shackelford, I'm pretty sure he's a retired from the fire department. He has his own freaking fire truck. He sent us a picture a while back of a restored ladder at fire truck.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass. So yeah, Scott, shoot me a message. I'll get some stickers out to you.
Shit, yeah.
And yeah, next time we'll do a stand or a patch or something badass too. Yep.
I've got a few stickers to give away on the next one too. I've got some ones printed off.
Cool.
Actually,
sounds good.
I just finished Forge Welding the Tomahawk head last weekend. If I ever get that finished, we can do something cool with that as a giveaway.
Why don't we just give away that first hatchet you ever made?
Oh man, dude, I don't know, Sam.
We'd have to pay
that
people.
That thing is gonna end up in the Smithsonian someday. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say that needs to be in the museum. Somebody could hang that on their. Put that on a mantle or something.
It's gonna be under the exhibit of things dipshits made with angle grinders.
It's gonna be in the poop knife exhibit.
I actually got one to weld last week. I was kind of impressed.
Sweet.
Scott says he's still active firefighter. I apologize, Scott. I said you were retired, but I don't know why I thought that. But yeah, he's still active.
He thinks you're old, Scott.
It's because you're stupid.
You should really be mad at him about that.
No, well, I'm just kind of an idiot, so it is what it is. Don't be offended at my stupidity.
Okay, well, I think that's all we have for tonight, folks. So I think we're going to end it here. Thanks, everybody that hung around and chatted with us. It was a nice, long, fun episode. If you're listening to this after the fact, we do this live on Facebook every other Wednesday night. You can also check out older episodes on YouTube. We do have an Instagram account as well that we don't really keep real active, but we are on there. And if you're just discovering us on Facebook, you can find us on most major podcast providers anyways. And be sure to check out Shyworks, the sponsor of tonight's show, for all your Cerakote needs. And he also does patches and laser engraved mags and bunch of random cool shit. He's always getting new stuff. And also check out Ballistic Imagery. Yes, his specialty is dildos.
Jesus Christ.
I stopped. No, hold on a second. I stopped there yesterday. He goes, I was in the office and I hadn't been to Sam's house in a couple of months. And he's like, yeah, I got a bunch of dildos in the oven. And I go, wait, what? And there were fire hose nozzles, but he opened it up and I was kind of at the back of the room. I was like, Jesus, he does have dildos in there.
For the love of God.
They're Star-Spangled Banner dildos.
Guys got to innovate. Times are tough.
Okay, well, I think I said what I need to say, so I think we're going to end it. And once again, thanks everyone for stopping by and hanging out. And Sam, take it away.
Yep. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Make sure and check back with us in 2 weeks. And until then, guys, keep the faith. I know it's tough times, but we'll get through this. Keep on keeping on. Stick together. And yeah, until we talk to you next time, remember, life short, live free. God bless. God bless America.
And defund the ATF.
Freedom! Repeal the NFA.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I didn't have anything clever ready. Leave me alone.
We're